You know, there's few things harder than trusting a plan that you didn't design. When you work with wood, you usually start with a clear picture with measurements and angles and a vision for how it's all supposed to come together. And when something doesn't line up, your instinct is to stop, to fix it, or to walk away. That's where Joseph finds himself in Matthew, the first chapter. Before the angel of the Lord comes to speak to him, Joseph's life no longer matches the plan that he had in mind. The woman that he loves is pregnant, and he knows the child isn't his. In his culture, that's not just heartbreaking, it's dangerous. Reputations are on the line, futures are at risk. And Scripture tells us that Joseph is a righteous man. He wants to do what's right, but he also wants to be merciful. So quietly, without making a scene, he decides to step away and spare Mary public shame. It's at that point that God intervenes. An angel appears to Joseph in a dream and he says, "Do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife." And he finishes by telling him, "You shall call that child's name Jesus." And right there, Joseph faces a choice. God doesn't remove the difficulty. God doesn't promise that people will understand. God doesn't even protect Joseph's reputation. Instead, God invites him into obedience. Now, Joseph can protect his image, or he can participate in God's miracle. He can choose safety, or he can trust God with a future that he didn't plan. And Scripture tells us simply that when Joseph woke up, he did what the angel of the Lord commanded him to do. No argument, no delay, no conditions. Joseph's obedience is quiet, it's steady, and it's costly. He takes Mary as his wife. He accepts the misunderstanding. He embraces a life that he didn't design. And he becomes the earthly guardian of the Son of God. Joseph reminds us that following God will sometimes require us to surrender our carefully constructed plans, the approval of others, and sometimes even the version of life that we thought we were building. But here's the truth we don't want to miss. When we trust God with our obedience, God trusts us with His holy purposes. Joseph never sings a song like Mary. He never stands in center stage. But heaven never forgets His faithfulness. And many of the most important things God does in the world are still being carried forward by people who obey quietly when no one else is watching.